Hi everyone, I'm Kenvin Allwood, and today I'll be your virtual tour guide of Brooklyn Public Library, Central's Library at Grand Army Plaza. This branch is the administrative part of one of the largest public library systems in the U.S., as well as a community fixture. I was lucky enough to speak with Jennifer Thompson, Assistant Director at Central Library Admin, who shared all sorts of cool info about how the library functions. This tour is planned to give you a behind the scenes glimpse of what the Central Library puts into action every day to help the people of Brooklyn, how its service are orchestrated, and how it is changing to take on new challenges and seize new opportunities. Whether you already work in a library or have never stepped foot in one, I hope that through this presentation you will begin to understand how challenging, fulfilling, and necessary a public library system such as this truly is. Purpose and background. With roots dating to 1896, the Brooklyn Public Library was established on the convictions that free access to information is empowering to the communities. It's a nonprofit that aims to bring education and literacy and opportunity to everybody. The Central Library has a unique function in serving this. It is not just where books are checked out, but the center of research, events, and administration for all 61 branches of the BPL of Brooklyn Public Library across the borough. It is the epicenter of a lot of coordination that is necessary, both budgets, hiring, training, policy development, but keeping things running smoothly. The fact is, the Central Library has to do heavy lifting in both being a high traffic public space and an administrative headquarters. Jennifer Thompson said it is not easy, especially with constantly shifting landscape of public needs, digital tools, and local politics. But the staff figures out how to make Central both efficient, behind the scenes, and welcoming at the front desk. Population and information needs. Brooklyn is one of the most diverse places in the nation, and BPL serves as community of more than 2.7 million individuals from all cultural, linguistic, and economic backgrounds. That entails not only immigrants, but also job seekers, students, seniors, and people who are homeless. The library caters to a wide spectrum of needs, from GED prep and English classes to tech help and cultural programs. Information needs are not only academic or professional, but can also be personal, immediate, or emotional. A parent searching for children books in their native language or an individual needing legal help to resolve a housing dispute might, for example, go to the library before they look anywhere else. BPL intends to provide a little something for everyone, but thoughtfully, ensuring that services and space are truly accessible and inclusive. Jennifer described that the team frequently reevaluates programming priorities and as continuous feedback from the community and visibility into usage patterns are gained. Meeting information needs. At the Central Library, the focus is on education and engagement for the services. The Information Commons is a place where folks can use computers, receive one-on-one research help, or take a digital literacy class. There are also offer talks, voter registration drives, and job fairs. Anything that connects people, knowledge, and opportunity. One that stood out to Jennifer was their partnership with city agencies to offer in-person support around SNAP benefits, IDNYC registration, and job help. Such services strip away barriers for people who don't know where to turn for help. Another popular program is Attention to ESOL, which they expanded heavily over the years to keep up with the new demographic. This is particularly important in Brooklyn, where a lot of people who move there are hoping to get a safe start in a new country. Sorry. Technology and infrastructure. The Central Library relies heavily on technology com- to serve its patrons. Computer labs, printing, and scanning services and free Wi-Fi are available throughout the building. Film and ebook digital platforms like Canopy and Libby are popular. Staff are trained to help patrons navigate it so that no one gets left behind in a digital society. Jennifer stressed that the library was always upgrading its tech infrastructure, and not just for patrons, but for internal purposes as well. Library staff use integrated systems to manage their collections, book rooms, and track programs. BPL is also investigating the potential of new technologies, including using AI to create tools for managing its collections and looking into application of virtual reality in its youth-focused programming. This is proof that libraries aren't held back in time. They're figuring out how to play the leading role in a digital future. Privacy and security. Privacy is a major issue in public libraries, particularly with digital service. BPL is in compliance with the American Library Association privacy standards and does not retain a large volume of identifiable personal data. Nevertheless, patrons' data can be vulnerable with third-party apps. The library is committed to being transparent and thoughtful in how user data is used. One example that Jennifer shared was the question of how to train staff to be wary of data. Whether wiping the browser history from public computers or explaining to a patron why e-reading apps gather information, it's a matter of empowering patrons to make an informed decision. Privacy policies are continuously revised and translated into multiple languages to achieve broad understanding. Outreach and marketing. The Central Library does a great deal to reach out to its community. That includes newsletters, social media, and multilingual outreach. The community fair is one of the group's most fun outreach efforts, combining entertainers, food vendors, partners, organizations, and patrons to create relationships. These are things that are not just pulling people into the library, but making Brooklyn stronger as a whole. The community fair are what Jennifer called living business cards. They assist patrons in understanding the entirety of what the library has to offer, not only books, but also classes, cultural events, legal aid, and in some cases, startups and small businesses classes. For these such customers, it can be very powerful process. It can be a very powerful process. Outreach, working with nearby schools, neighborhoods, happenings, and the city at large so that the library is seen as a partner to keep it current and alive. Funding and employment. BPL is supported by the City of New York, New York State, federal grants, and through private donations. Among major supporters are the Charles H. Revson Foundation and the Stavros Narcos Foundation. But maintaining a system this size in good working order requires a lot of coordination. Jennifer explained how the hiring and training process at Central works. The key qualification for most of these are MLS degrees or MLIS degrees. But beyond a degree, what matters is service mindset, cultural competence, and the ability to adapt. Also, language skills are prized thanks to the diversity of Brooklyn. The staff is trained through onboarding programs and ongoing professional development to stay current on trends and best practices. Challenges and opportunities. BPO, like all libraries, is not without its problems. One major trend is the rise of book bans and collection challenges across the country. Although New York is not suffering on the same scale as some states, BPL has needed to be proactive. One such potent form of advocacy is currently on full display is the Book Unbanned program, which allows teens across the country to access digital books for free despite local bans. Jennifer observed balancing physical space is another challenge, perhaps now more than ever, since libraries are asked to do more than ever before. It puts studies it puts quiet study spaces in tension with more dynamic use like youth programming, tech labs, or social services. Flexible design, movable furniture, and multi-use rooms have been among the tools making a difference in addressing it. And there's a great opportunity as well. Youth engagement is a growing area as more and more teens are engaged in librarian programming, planning, design. Another area of growth is digital equity program, providing, for example, Wi-Fi hotspots and virtual tech help. The library is also considering new partnerships with health and housing services to build more holistic support systems. Comparison to other libraries. Unlike other library systems such as New York Public Library or Queens Public Library, BPL is known for being community oriented and seeking out fresh new ideas. The Central Library is proving ground for is a proving ground for innovation that can be scaled more broadly throughout the smaller branches. Projects like Books on Ban, the Digital Literacy Workshop, instrument loans, sewing machine loan, board game loans, hardware hardware tool loans, vinyl record loans, and mobile job assistant vans are just some ways BPL goes to the edge. The organization, Jennifer said, was nimble, shifting constantly based on community voice and technology or policy change. In short, the Central Library of the Brooklyn Public Library System is not just a building full of books. It is a community center that responds, creates, and includes in a space dedicated to the community and a tradition of free access to information. My interview with Jennifer Thompson taught me a great deal about how much careful consideration and strategy must go into the library leadership. What I discovered was that success in public librarianship is born not only of passion, but from planning, partnering, listening, and growing. Thank you for taking this tour with me, and thanks to Jennifer Thompson and all the amazing BPL staff who shared their knowledge, experience, and commitment to public service. Thank you.